Good morning. Tuesday morning. Just actually, actually it's just on 12. And I've just got back in from my 6K walk, dodging the showers because there's been plenty of those about today, as there has been for God knows how long. It seems like forever. But yeah, we've had a lot of rain and a lot of wetness for damp for what seems like weeks. And yeah, it gets you down because it's just like the weather back in the UK. In fact, I think you had, was it Storm Lillian recently? And our weather was exactly the same. We had stormy rain, exactly the same as what you had. So Western Australia is not the place to be in the winter. It is awful and I hate it. I bloody hate it with a passion, if I'm honest. Just wanted to do a brief catch up today because Darren and I will be celebrating our 2-year anniversary since we left the UK shortly. And wow, what a 2 years it has been. I think for us, the change that we've experienced over the past, since it'll be since 2018 really. Look, I mean, if we go back a bit, there was Brexit. So Brexit happened, and at the time we were living in Spain. Daryl's mother became ill in Australia, and mine became ill in the UK. You've got to remember Brexit. So just after, we had to make the choice about whether or not we were going to stay in Spain or return home to our respective countries, at least temporarily. That's what we decided. So, and what we would do is we would travel back to Spain to keep our residency alive, because if you stay out for too long, it will lapse. Okay, we made the plans. We were going to meet in Spain, we were going to meet in, different parts of the world, and it would work out fine, and we would be back living in Spain before you know it. Now, nothing works out, hello you, nothing works out quite as you would like, ever. Certainly not in our case. So the pandemic happened. And of course, lockdowns. Daryl was locked down in Australia. Their lockdowns were stricter than most, to be honest with you. And he was prevented from travelling back to Europe. And that created all sorts of problems. We literally could not get back to Spain on the same conditions that we left in the first place. Our residency lapsed, it had gone, it was no longer valid. So we were kind of stuck. I don't think either of us really wanted to be stuck in the UK, but it looked like that's what was going to happen. So between 2018 to 2022, 4 years, we both not led separate lives, but we established ourselves, me in Portsmouth, him in Perth. And I made some great friends. Look, I worked for Tesco, I worked for Cancer Research, I worked for the Newcomb Arms. And each of the people that I worked with were fantastic people who I miss every single day. If you look behind me on that wall, you've got pictures, friends, wonderful times. That one there, full of memories, mainly fridge magnets, because when you're a collector like me and you travel all over the world, you collect stuff. And people have been sending me stuff from the UK, and it all gets put on there. So when I wake up in the morning and I walk past this corridor, it just puts a smile on my face. It's my history, it's my past, and it's important to me. So I think as I become older as well, I become a lot more emotionally, a lot more emotional, especially where friends are concerned. These people were the people that got me through. So they got me through when, me and Daryl went together. The pandemic was going on. Mum died. They were there, and these people were instrumental in my, call it recovery. It's not really a recovery, but it's just in my well-being. They kept me kind of grounded, and I miss them terribly. I mean, look, we've got FaceTime, um, messaging, email, whatever. We keep in contact. Christmas cards every year, birthday cards, etc., etc. And that all of that is important, but it's still not the same as being close to someone. And I think that's the part I miss. Living in Australia, we don't have the connections that we had in the UK. And don't forget, the connections we had in the UK go right the way back to 1995. So although I'm speaking about Portsmouth now, we have other friends way, 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 way back, further back. But they're all based in the UK. I have a lot of friends in Spain. I was only there a short while. Loads of friends in Spain. Equally, Portsmouth. I was there for years. But I have so many, many people, especially on social media, that have been, that were close to me at that point. It was a wrench. It really was a wrench. And I remember that day we left to initially go to Croatia. So we were going to see Daryl's family. And the rain was coming down, rainy Britain. And Serena, who was my old boss, friend, if you like, from Cancer Research, turned up to say goodbye. And it was quite emotional. It was very emotional, to be honest with you. Having said that, when we were sat at the railway station waiting for the train to take us to London, I just remember thinking to myself, it's such a relief. It is a relief to be leaving. The story of our leaving is not a good one, and it's not through anything that we had done. It's, once again, which is the story of our life, it's other people. It's not something I'm going to go into because I've gone into it in the past. I've gone over it, and these are about good, happy memories, not horrible, sad memories. So as much as I loved my aunt, both of us were glad to be leaving, and my aunt, she's got a special place in my heart. She put a roof over my head when I needed it, when we were coming back from Spain, and without her, life would have been very difficult. So she's there. Other people, not so much. No, the friends different, but extended family, that didn't work out, sadly. But that's the story of families, unfortunately. So, for those who know me, I don't talk to many of my extended family. Certainly not on my dad's mother's side, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. So, saying goodbye, it was difficult. It was a necessary evil. But 2 years on, when you assess how well or not you've done, it's clear to see we've done all right. When we arrived in Australia, there was a housing crisis. There still is a housing crisis, which was a hangover really from the pandemic. Couldn't find anywhere to rent. I mean, I remember we went to view places to rent, and we were part of a long queue of 100 people just to view one flat, a one-bedroom flat, paying $600-700 a week for. And I I remember I was just sat there like that, and I'm just thinking to myself, this is not going to work. This really is not going to work. How the hell can we make it in a country where there's no housing? I've got a good job, so we're sleeping on mother-in-law's floor. Got a great job. I'm still with the same brand, sorry, the same company, although I'm working for a different brand. So I'm still under the same umbrella, and this organisation has opened my eyes to how wonderful you can be treated as employees. They have been truly amazing, diverse, equality. They are champions of equality, and the fact that I am gay makes no difference, and it's a breath of fresh air. It's very similar to Tesco actually, because they were kind of the same, and I thoroughly enjoy working for them. And I've had other opportunities elsewhere, but I've turned down each one, and I've stayed within this organisation. And yeah, they have been, yeah, they've been life saving on so many different levels. The housing situation was dreadful. It isn't ideal when you're in a one-bedroom unit with your mum-in-law, and I don't think we would still be here today if I hadn't have dug my feet in and said, no, we're not going to go back. This is not going to happen again. I am going to sort this out. And I did. We've got a beautiful home now. We managed to get a mortgage within, gosh, a couple of months of being here. That was a lot of talking and negotiating with the bank, assuring them that the jobs we had were permanent, and we were going to be in those jobs for a long time, and we were stable, and we were not going to go back to Europe. And so there was a lot of talking to bank managers, financial advisors, and eventually they said, okay, here's the money, buy yourself a house. And we did. We kind of bought the first house that came up, but we bought the house. And we're still there and looking to buying another house eventually and renting this one out, because this was always going to be a stopgap. But we own it. And it's quite shocking really, because the price we paid was about 18 months ago. The value of the property now has gone up by over $150,000 in that short space of time. So you can see how bad the housing crisis is. There's no housing here. People can't get a foot on the ladder, and they are priced out almost immediately. We were just lucky. We were in the right place, more or less at the right time. Job, house. And then we've got citizenship. So a couple of years, I will be an Australian citizen rather than a permanent resident. And that I'm looking forward to. That then gives me the freedom to do what I want to do. And I can travel, back. Look, I've got freedoms now. We've travelled extensively since we've been here. Vietnam, Thailand, we're off to Taiwan. So we have travelled a lot. But I won't have to go through the rigmarole of visa checks and all the rest of it as I enter the country with Border Force. And it just makes life easier. You're more settled, you're more secure. And that again is really, really important for me now, my time of life. So that's something to look forward to, for sure. But now, concentrating on the job, my job, Daryl's job. In truth, we don't have a huge circle of friends, but neither do we want a huge circle of friends. we're too busy knuckling down and doing the right thing, in all honesty, which is what we have to do. And I don't want hundreds of people around me like I used to have in the past, people in and out your house every 5 minutes. It's just not me anymore. So life has taken us down it's taken us down many rabbit holes in the past, really. And I think for the first time, we feel the security. We've got the house, a brand new car, the 2 cats, you know. To many people, you know, my musings, if you like, about my simple life, because it is a very simple life, is going to sound a bit strange, because everyone else is they've always had these fantastic careers, and they, you know, director of this company, director of that company, whatever. My life was never going to be like that, because I married an Australian. And at the time, we had to move from country to country in order to stay together. So there was never really any time to establish a career. And as much as I would have loved to have an amazing job with amazing money and a big house and all the rest of it, it's really not important. The only thing, excuse me, the only things that are important are the memories, those memories there. That's it. Everything else, material stuff, forget it. Don't care. I just do not care. I'm more than happy with my life as it is now. I will get back to the UK at some stage, and I need to see my father, and I need to see friends. That's really, really important, because I don't want to make the same mistakes I made and not seeing mum until those final 6 months, because that is one of the biggest regrets I will ever have. So until then, we're quite rooted where we are. We're doing the right thing. We're saving money. We're paying the mortgage down in extra short time. So quick time, should I say. So we should have it paid off within about 10 years. And considering it was a 30-year mortgage, we're not doing too badly. And as soon as that's done, it then finally gives us the option about where we're going to go. Are we going to stay here, go to Europe, go to Thailand to live, whatever. But this is not the final stop for us. Absolutely not. There will be another stop along the way. We just don't know where yet. So, travellers keep travelling. Me and the other half will always travel. The 2 cats keep us grounded. We know we're going to be here for at least 10 years. But then, who knows? It's a great 2-year anniversary, just before our 29th anniversary of being together. And I'm looking forward to celebrating both, if you like. The year after, the 30 years we would have been together. Gosh, it seems like a lifetime. It is a lifetime. It really is a lifetime. And part of this waffling with you, I call it waffling, these little vlogs, it also gives me something to look back on and think, well, do you know what, Dad? You've done all right. You're okay. A lot's happened in your life. You had a lot of challenges. There has been turmoil and upheaval and difficulties, but you survived and you've come out the other end. You're here. You know, you've got your house. You're doing everything. Everything you should do. Apart from having the people around us that we love. Sadly, you know, torn between 2 countries, and that's always going to be the problem for us. So, happy, but not happy. Not sad, but could be happier, you know. Come over, everyone, come over. Love to see you. Anyway, take care. Ciao.